let's have a look at some older outfits again, shall we? Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I wanted to go over some old outfits again with you guys. So I have had a blog since 2010, and one of the things that I started doing on there very early on was sort of document my outfits. And I still film my outfits regularly for you, and I love going back to what I used to wear like in 2014, because that's the year we're talking about here with all of these blog posts, where like what outfits was I wearing, how was I styling them, would I still wear it this way? Maybe I still have items like this in my wardrobe, but I would currently style them differently. So I have some old blog posts again for you, and I'm going to take the pictures from those and pop them up on the screen so you can see the outfits as I'm talking about it. And I used to really love dresses, so this is a very dress-heavy edition for sure. So let's get a look at these older outfits. So in this first blog post, I decided to post a bunch of dresses. As I already mentioned, 2014 was the year of the dress for me. Around 2013, I think a little earlier, I actually discovered ASOS, and I went ham on there. So I had a lot of like fairly cheap, I would say, ASOS dresses that I very often would get in the sale, and I was really sort of experimenting with them, like what did I like wearing and stuff. So I don't feel all of these outfits are necessarily flattering, but I was really sort of experimenting with colors and cuts and like lengths and stuff. And I definitely have shifted my preferences when it comes to a dress currently as I've gotten a little older. Like here, I had just turned 30 that year. There was definitely a different vibe going on for sure. This dress I used to love. The reason why I no longer own this dress is because it was way too sweaty. This was this really thick, like old-fashioned polyester material, and as lovely as it looks, it just was a pain to wear. It had this really pretty sort of tulip design, and I really like the shape of this on me as well. So it had a nice V-neck, it had a shorter length sleeve, and then it's sort of like had a tulip skirt where it's a little poofier around your hips and your stomach, which I'm an apple shape, so that works really well for my shape overall. And then it sort of like tapers down a little bit in the skirt, but it does cinch you in at the waist, and then it sort of like rounds out like that. So that's why I do think this is pretty flattering. I do remember this being a slightly bigger size on me, and that's another reason why I ended up getting rid of it, because it just wasn't the best fit for me personally for that reason, which is why I'm wearing it with a belt here as well. Not sure I would go with the yellow flats again. I would definitely wear something differently. I do still have yellow shoes that I think would go with this really well, but I have changed a lot of the lengths of my dresses to be more like calf length, sort of like midi or maxi length dresses is what I go for nowadays. I don't really tend to wear dresses this short anymore. I still have a couple in my wardrobe from way back in the day, but I tend to prefer a longer dress now. So that goes for most of these dresses. This cream number I remember getting rid of quite quickly. The tulip dress was from H&M, it says here. And this white dress is, again, from H&M. I didn't know. I do believe this had a zip in the back, and that's another thing about dresses that I look for currently. If it has a zip in the back, I'm no longer going to faff around with this. I have enough mobility in my shoulders that I can do that myself by myself as well. But I just find it a bit too cumbersome. I actually go for buttons down the front, or maybe a side zip, or like a wraparound style. I no longer go for dresses that have zippers in the back. It's too much of a faff. I don't have time for that in my life. So that's another reason why this one had to go. And again, this was that very sort of polyester-y, thicker fabric that I didn't like. It gave the dress a beautiful shape, but I didn't end up liking it for that. And I definitely think because of the mesh polka dot layer, the sort of stripe you get across the chest is actually not that flattering on me now that I look back at it. So the shape of it wasn't the best. Another H&M dress, it seems to be, I had a lot of H&M dresses at this time, and this peach number, I do still like the shirt style. I believe it had an elasticated waist, but this had no lining, and therefore it didn't have a lot of shape. I'm currently really looking for like how strong the fabric is. Does it skim my body in a flattering way? And that, like, it's okay if you're not moving in it, but this, I remember just shifting into places that didn't quite work for me. And peach just, it's not really my color, I find. Especially this light of a peach, it just almost blends in with my skin tone too much, depending on how the light hits it. I think that's why I also have this, like, darker picture. I think I must have changed the setting on my camera a little bit so that you could actually see the color of the dress. But I kind of disappear in this. It's like too much one color, it's pale on pale, and I like a bit of contrast myself. So I would never go for this color again. I think I've actually decluttered every single item in my wardrobe that had this peachy tone, because I just never felt my best wearing this shade. So I'm gonna get a color analysis done in about a week and a half. Actually, when you're watching this video, I'm gonna have it next week. So I'm very curious what comes out of it, because I no longer gravitate towards shades like this. And some people have been telling me in the comments that I might be a spring, and shades like this are very spring-esque, at least in my brain. So I'm very curious what's gonna come out of it, because maybe I just don't see it correctly. But I've experimented a lot with different colors and wearing different colors in my day, and a shade like this, I wouldn't go for. So that's why I'm really curious to see, like, what will come out of this color analysis thing. Then I used to love this dress. This was such a beautiful thing. This was from Forever 21. What a throwback. This I loved. I loved a skater dress. So a lot of the dresses I owned at this time had this, like, knee length, or maybe like just above the knee sort of length. And then it had a more fitted, like, bodice, and then a more, like, fit and flare kind of skirt. That's what I was going for. It's very millennial coded, this sort of style. That twee vibe that was around, like, in the early 2010s, that was definitely my thing. I used to love that vibe. I would wear this again, but I would wear it in a different color. This, again, minty shade, not something I gravitate towards anymore. I still have some, like, lighter blues in my wardrobe currently, but something this, like, minty green, like turquoisey leaning, again, not a huge fan of it anymore. Used to love it at the time. Not sure about the lace. It's the lace texture that's really sort of dating this outfit, I feel. I like it. I like the little cap sleeve. I like the fit of this dress a lot. Again, it did have the zipper in the back, so no. But I also feel like if lace, especially if it was like Forever 21 or Primark or those kind of places, like, I have some really beautiful lace blouses in my wardrobe currently that are really well made. They're very sturdy, but this was like this really stretchy, weird fabric. And very often I find if laces, like lace materials, are made very cheaply, like this was a polyester blend, it wasn't real lace at all, but then the lace pattern is sort of like super repetitive, and then it looks a little cheap. So that was definitely the case here as well. Like, you can see this is a cheap dress, in my opinion. So not something I would gravitate towards anymore, for sure. And then this one I just really enjoyed for the color. I think this is H&M again. Yes, it was just this stretchy jersey t-shirty kind of fabric, which does absolutely nothing for my proportions. I'm very well aware. That's also why I got rid of it, but it did have pockets. I mean, a dress with pockets is always a win. And I just really enjoyed this very bright neon pink of it. That's why I wore it. That's why I selected it. And I think that this is a beautiful, like, color till this day. I wish I had a dress like this still. It was this very bright fluorescent sort of neon pink. I would wear that still, but I wouldn't wear it in this shape. So those are the first 5 dresses. Then I have another blog post with dresses. And here I have a couple of dresses that I no longer own, but where I do still have something very similar in my wardrobe today, but more so in a style of dress that I would wear nowadays. So let's get to these. This little combo, I would still wear this. I definitely would. I think this dress, oh, again, Forever 21, this again had no lining. There was no lining in this dress whatsoever. It was very sort of straight up and down. And I remember it being quite strappy, and at the time I didn't like that very much on myself. So I would layer this, like, thin black cardigan over it. I think, oh, the cardigan was from Gap. That's a throwback. I haven't owned anything from Gap in a while. I still have a thin black cardigan like this that I like to layer over things in the summertime, because I have found, especially with my really fair skin, protecting it against the sun, I could go sunscreen or I can wear something long sleeved. And I have found myself that the thing that works best for me is to just layer something over it. It's why I own quite a few like linen shirts and like these thinner knit fabrics, because especially in the summertime, it's so helpful if you can just layer something over your clothing to prevent you from getting a sunburn rather than having to slather on sunscreen. So when it comes to protecting my skin, staying out of the sun is one, and number two is just wearing more clothing, or at least in very thin breathable fabrics that, you know, you can wear a longer pair of trousers, or like, I'm just not going to show skin. That's sort of the conclusion here. And this is already something I was doing 10 years ago, and I would still do it. I like the way the cardigan like sort of dips in the middle, and then it just gives a little bit more shape, because I remember this particular dress, it did have elastication in the waist, but it wasn't like the most flattering thing ever. And I feel that adding the cardigan really styles it up nicely. So this is something I would still wear. Like if I still had this dress, I would wear it. I don't think I have anything that's this dark of a floral in a dress, but I do have blouses that sort of do this thing. So I still have something like this in my wardrobe, not as a dress though. I don't have a lot of black dresses because I don't like an all black outfit on myself all that much. It's not that I don't like black, I just find it a little bit boring, and I like having fun with my clothing. If you see my weekend outfits, you know what I like to wear. I like to go for prints, and I like to go for colors and stuff like that. So that's why something like this still works for me when it comes to black, because I'm like, okay, it's not just black, you know, there's a little bit more going on. So yeah, I do really like this. I would still wear this till this day. And then we have this Forever 21 dress. I remember this very well. This got too small, and it had that zipper situation in the back. It was this really thick, sort of heavy polyester fabric that was not that comfortable either. But I love this blue and white color. So I now have a linen maxi dress with straps from H&M in this blue and white color. And I remember sort of waiting until they did something like this, because I was like, okay, I need a dress like this again in my life, because I think this color combo is fire on me. This white and blue for the summertime, chef's kiss, chef's kiss. Wouldn't, like, again, I do have a dress then with like spaghetti straps, but very often, even in the summertime, I like to wear something with a sleeve nowadays and not go sleeveless. At the time, I was wearing loads of sleeveless clothing. I went most of my 20s and 30s wearing sleeveless items when it comes to like dresses and shirts and stuff. I lived in tank tops for most of my 20s. It's just something that as I've gotten older, I've just no longer really want to do. Like if I were to have this dress still, I would probably layer something over it. I like there to be a little bit more sleeve detail. And the reason for that being is because I have pretty wide shoulders, and that if it like cuts off here, I feel I look wider than I am. So covering it up with a sleeve sort of minimizes the whole look, and I look more in proportion, at least I feel. This I would not wear again. This is another skater dress from H&M. Again, that like sort of t-shirty, like very sort of stretchy material that I described for the bright pink one. This looks still pretty okay. It's a skater dress, but it's quite short, even for me at this point in time. Like, this was pushing it, but I liked showing a little bit of leg at the time. Still do. Like, my legs are still, like, one of my best features, I find. I've danced my entire life, so my legs are always, like, one of the best looking items for that reason, I find. Like, if I have to pick a body part that I like best about myself, it would be my legs. And, like, also, I'm not that tall, but if you look at me full length in a mirror and you actually know where my hip bones sit, then my legs are very long for my total frame. I'm like 2/3 leg, and like the rest of me is only like this tall, you know? So it's why I like my legs. But yeah, this dress is really not giving. It sort of sits a little bit weird. It has no shape or structure to it whatsoever. This fabric is just not great. And here you can see what I mean, like with the, like how the sleeve cuts, it just looks uncomfortable really. So no can do. Another one of those like t-shirty jersey material fabrics. This is from Forever 21. I like these a lot at the time because you could just throw them on. You know, you can just pull them over your head like a regular t-shirt and you're out the door. I just don't find it really does that much for how it sits on your body. I would go for something a little bit more structured, or if it's like something like this, then I like to at least have it have lining. That's what I'm currently looking for. Like a good dress at least needs lining. That's one thing I definitely look for. And the final dress that I have in this blog post is this shirt dress with buttons down the front and this sleeveless style. I like the length of this on me. This again became a little bit too small. It's already like pulling quite a bit at the bust. I now have a dress like this in my wardrobe. It's from Monkey. It's also this sort of ditzy floral print on a red base. And I still love that dress. It does have sleeves. It's a little bit longer, like this, like almost like I don't want my laptop to fall, but like sort of till here. And then it has a longer length style. It's more of like a midi dress on me. And I love that thing to pieces. It's such a wonderful thing. Again, something I was looking for. I loved this print so much that when it no longer fit me, I sort of held out and bought the sort of perfect replacement for what I like to do style-wise currently. So there's that. But there's more. I have some other things for sure as well that I've worn. Here we get more into like fall-inspired outfits. I know it's July, but maybe you're already preparing for back to school and you want to know like, okay, what can I wear in the autumn time? And when I'm looking at these outfits all together, these colors I would still very much wear. I don't necessarily would wear them as like these items. Let's be real. Case in point, this first outfit here, a navy blouse like this, for sure. I have a beautiful navy silk blouse from Cezanne that I love to pieces. And I have quite a few like navy items in my wardrobe. I feel it's a really good shade on me. Case in point, this little t-shirt from Uniqlo that I'm wearing. It's like this scoop neck baby tee with like a Henley and this pointelle sort of fabric. It's really comfy. But I would never ever wear it with this kind of legging situation anymore. I just wouldn't. Oh, these are my Docs from like way back in the day as well. I still have these Doc Martens, just so you know. But yeah, these sort of like the pants situation, what's going on here? Like this isn't even just like skinny, it's leggings. Not sure I ever wore this out, but they had this like faux leather detail at the top, so you could potentially wear them as trousers. I mean, at the time we were wearing Galaxy leggings, so who was I to not jump on the trend of wearing leggings as pants? Not sure I would wear this. I mean, I'm not even with the gray. I wouldn't pair navy with gray anymore. I would go for like either a lighter denim or I would go like really dark denim with this as well. That could be a good look. Maybe like a beige or like a taupe could be nice. And I'm more of like a trouser girl nowadays, especially in the fall winter season. I have quite a few of these like more dress pants like style of like trousers, and that's what I would wear with these for sure. I love me a bit of burgundy, but again, not with the gray. What's going on with the gray? I used to love a gray. I used to love a red and gray combo, a burgundy and gray combo. Like I was wearing everything with gray, and then of course we have the black tights. Do I still have these shoes? I think I still have the shoes. I no longer have this particular blouse, but again, I had been on the hunt for a good long sleeve burgundy blouse, and I still like it. I think this one is from ASOS. The navy one is from Primark. It's probably why these are no longer in my wardrobe, but I have replaced them with better items. I believe this blouse, the burgundy one, is also with a black lapel, so that makes it a little less versatile. So I do have burgundy items in my wardrobe. I love wearing that shade, but I love, for instance, I have a navy, like a burgundy suit jacket. I love it with like a dove, like duck egg blue. Such a good combo. I actually own a vibrant neon pink turtleneck just so I can wear it with my burgundy blazer and suit trousers. So I love burgundy as a suit and then using blouses to sort of have a clashing color. I love burgundy and red. That's a good combo. Burgundy and pink is a really good combo. So I would definitely pair this in a different way nowadays. If it was just a blouse, probably with like really deep, dark, saturated denim. That will work a charm. Like I said, I like burgundy and pink, so I also have pink trousers that would go with this really well. I still need to try and fit into them, but I actually have bought a bright pink pair of corduroys through Vinted that are from And Other Stories originally, and I knew buying them that it was a bit of a gamble whether they would fit me, but it's now become my goal to fit into those trousers. So hopefully this fall I can wear them. That's sort of fingers crossed. I already tried them on again a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to actually close them for the first time, so that felt like a win, but it was still very uncomfortable. So I still have a little way to go, but a burgundy blouse with that bright pink pair of corduroy trousers would be fire. So loving that. I would definitely still wear that blouse, but not the skirt and the combo. I don't really wear skater skirts like this anymore. I do still have shorter skirts, but again, skirt-wise, I have changed the length to be more midi or maxi. That's what I feel most comfortable in now. I still have shorter skirts, but I tend to wear them mainly in the fall-winter season, so I can wear them with tights. Then I have this peplum top situation. Who remembers the peplum top situation? Oh, there was peplum everywhere. It had a little bit of a resurgence as like a micro trend a couple of months ago, I feel, but I think I used to have a top from back in the day. This I decolored it really quickly. This was from Forever 21, and it was one of the first times I found a peplum top that actually fit me and that sort of set right. The problem was that it was a little bit like long in the waist, and because my torso is just not that long, I find that with peplum it's really difficult for me to make sure it sits in the right point. So that's why this is a no-go. I would never wear this, especially not with the skirt. Here we have something that I could very easily wear. I still have a blue and yellow dress from Monkey. Again, it's a lot longer, and then with a longer line mustard yellow cardigan. I need to whip that out for the fall winter season because that would be something that would be very fun. Yeah, I would still wear this. I just would change the length on the skirt, and I feel that the round neckline makes it look a little bit like ditzy, so I'm like, I would change the shape of the dress, but I do really like it. It's from H&M, this dress. Yeah, I like that. Again, I still have an item that sort of looks like this in my wardrobe, and I have a mustard yellow cardigan, and then I could wear that really easily. Again with the skinny jeans, but I was like, I think I still own this flannel, but I don't. I do still have something very similar to this. I have a couple of flannels in my wardrobe that I like to wear, especially in the fall winter season. So something like this I could still wear. Do I have mustard yellow trousers? I do have this like almost like chartreusey green sort of trouser. They're again this like dress pants sort of situation. They're super high-waisted from ASOS, and those are really lovely. I think that could be really well, like worn really well with a flannel, because then you have something that's a little bit dressier and a little bit more like flowy, and then you have the like thicker fabric of the flannel. I think that can work. And then we'll talk some more autumn dresses actually, because I think there was a couple of really good ones in here too. I think this is all dresses, and again, like I said, this is the dress edition for sure. I used to love a dress back in 2014, as I said. At the time, I remember working in Amsterdam, and I remember teaching there and just wearing a dress every single day. I was wearing a different dress every single day of the week. I had this really nice burgundy skater dress. Again, this very stretchy, sort of slightly thicker t-shirty material. I think it did have like a faux zip in the back. I got rid of this because it was sleeveless, and therefore I didn't love it. I don't think, do I have a burgundy dress? I do, but it's velvet. And it's a little bit more bodycon style, so I've definitely shifted away from these like skater skirt kind of things as well, because I felt that as I was getting a little bit older, it made me look a little bit too young. And very often a lot of the ones I had were too short for my liking as well. This is quite short too. Like this combo actually, I would wear this if I still had all of these items. The jacket, I remember falling apart on me. So if you don't know, faux leather can get like dry out over time and then it just disintegrates. And I've had that happen to a faux leather jacket that I had, and this one it happened to as well. And then right where it like creases where you bend your arms, it just like evaporates. And this had happened to really, really quickly with this one. So be aware if you buy faux leather, that isn't necessarily going to make sure your item lasts the longest, unfortunately. And this together with a different Topshop dress that I think we've already chatted about was one of my favorite fall dresses for such a long time. This one was from ASOS. I got it in the sale. It had this really cute sort of Peter Pan style collar and this fit and flare shape. This made me look like, this made me feel like $1,000,000. I would not style it with these creamy items anymore. Nowadays, I would go with dark green. So like dark green pair of shoes, dark green like tights, and a dark green cardigan. That's what I would wear this with. Unfortunately, it became too small. And this was, again, that sort of very cheap, very thin polyester material. So it ripped really easily as well once things got like, it no longer fits. So I do have something now that looks really similar, that really gives off this vibe. I actually discovered a brand, they are sadly defunct. They've gone under, which was called Joni Clothing. I found them through TikTok and I saw loads of people buying their stuff. And I bought a couple of their items, but because they were based in the UK, it was quite pricey. But they had these really beautiful, like exactly this style of dress in these really fun prints, and I got 2 of them. I got them in 2 different sizes because I was like sort of in between the size, so I wasn't sure. So the first one I got, I felt was a little bit too big, and then I got a different print, a size down, and that one I feel is a little bit too snug. So I was sort of in between, that's why I didn't get any more, but the one I have from Joni Clothing has a limited edition print that they did in collaboration with the British Museum of Natural Sciences or something like that. It was like in collaboration with one of the London museums, and it has this really beautiful, almost like similar green base layer to it, but then it has this very fall print with like berries and little like squirrels and stuff. It's really, really cool. So it's even a little bit more fun than this is. But in my brain, that dress is very similar to what I'm showing you here. So this is another dress where I've sort of replaced it with something a little bit more current in a better fabric, because the Joni dress I have has a zipper down the side. This one had a zipper in the back. Another reason why I had to go. It does have the Peter Pan style collar. It does have the sleeve, and it does cinch me in. The Joni one also has pockets, and it's from cotton, 100% cotton. So it's a much better fabric. I am looking forward to wearing that dress again this fall. I'm gonna love it, I know. This tartan print dress I had for years. I think it was Topshop. Yes, Topshop. And then I would wear this with my dogs. This was sort of like my like feminine take on a punk rock outfit, you could say. I used to love this. I don't think I have a tartan print dress currently, but I have plenty of tartan print in my wardrobe. Like this sort of checkered sort of vibe. I just love, and when it comes back in style, I always buy a couple of items to have it in my wardrobe. So maybe it's time, maybe this is a sign to wear a tartan print dress again sometime in the future. This was an A-line dress, by the way. So it had this cap sleeve and then sort of like a boat neck style. And then it was a little bit like a sack because it had no shape around the waist. It was just like straight, like a triangle going like that. That's why it fit me for a very long time. But I don't love the white in this tartan. Like if it was like a dark green tartan print, I would have liked it better. You know what I mean? And then this brown dress I actually had in 2 colors. It's from H&M. I liked it so much that I got it in the red as well. But I was wearing the brown one more often than I did the red. Wouldn't wear it with gray tights and a gray cardigan nowadays. What's up with my gray obsession at this time? Like I said, I was wearing everything with gray. I would wear this, like I like wearing brown with red or burgundy now as well. Burgundy and brown is a good combo too. Or with navy. Navy and brown is really lovely. Like, I would just look for different color combos with this. And again, I don't love the print here. It's also quite short. Again, it had the zipper in the back. And what I don't like about this is that it actually has that contrasting sort of fabric around the neckline and then around the waist. That's meant to give you a little bit more shape, but I'm not sure if you can see, it's actually not in the right spot on my body. So not the best shape for me, but still a fun dress. I liked that dress a lot at the time. And then this dress, I think, also H&M. I probably picked this up in a sale. This was really baggy around the waist, though, I remember. So I was always layering things over it. Actually, fun fact, this neon orange belt I used to wear a lot with a lot of my black and white dresses, and it would stain the dress. So that's what happened to this one. And I couldn't get it out. Whenever I would wear it in a different way, you would see this bright orange stain on it, which wasn't a good thing. So I got rid of it. The fabric was really weird on this one, which is why it was very uncomfortable. This was definitely my fabric experimental area. I nowadays very much look more towards like, okay, what is this item made of? And I remember this being a really weird, stiff, very thick fabric that just, it sort of like crinkled when you walked as well. It was just like, it made this noise and it was not a good look. I like the shape of it. I do like that, but what I don't like, this is how you can tell that it's an H&M dress, is that the stripes on the sleeve don't line up with the stripes on the body. That's how you can tell that a garment was made cheaply, is if it is a stripy item and it has sleeves and the sleeve, like, it doesn't line up with the body when you wear it, instant tell that it was a cheaply made item. So that's something I currently look for as well. Like, if I wear something that has a stripe, then I want it to look good. So there you have it. Those were the blog posts that I wanted to take you through, a little bit of a trip down memory lane. So these were things that I used to wear back in 2014, more than a decade ago. Let me know, were you wearing the same things? Were you obsessed with dresses like I was? I was wearing a dress every single day of the week, like I said. It's just how I live my life. I still love a good dress, but I just wear slightly different things, as you will have seen in recent videos. So thanks so much for being here today. Thumbs up this video if you liked it, and subscribe because I make new videos every single week. See you then. Bye-bye.